Execute Order Jund League 66. I had to. Star Wars reference, number 66. Alright, so let's do it. Doing something very similar to what we usually do here at the Junderdome. A few main deck changes. We've got lots and lots of burn and prowess and just otherwise very aggro decks right now. So I went up to a 7th 1-mana removal spell, being the 4th copy of Lightning Bolt. I also brought back the Maelstrom Pulse, and the ways that I have made room to do this are I have cut both copies of Scavenging Ooze. It just really hasn't been that impressive, and I think removal is probably just going to be better right now than just what is usually a bear that you can put mana into most of the time. It just hasn't been that impressive, and there's really only one graveyard deck that's prominent right now, which is Dredge, and we just don't really see a lot of that at the moment. So I think I'm just going to hedge towards those more aggro matchups, and also just matchups where things like Bolt and Pulse are just good. In this sideboard, I am trying out a copy of Courser of Kruphix. This is a card that I've liked in the past. It's obviously pretty fine versus things like Burn, where it can gain those extra life points, and it's also got 4 toughness, which is kind of that magic number to at least stonewall the ground creatures while at the same time forcing a 2-for-1 if the opponent wants to remove it. And I'm also trying a copy of Unravel the Aether. I think this particular effect is pretty cool because it has the opponent shuffling into their graveyard as opposed to destroying. So this can take care of things like the card Heliod, as opposed to things like Cinder Vines or just other disenchant effects that would say destroy that don't actually work on an indestructible permanent. So let's take a look at the current Modern metagame as it sits today. As I mentioned, lots of hyper aggro-y stuff in at first and second. What's up, Spunky Sniffer? We've got Burn and Blitz in at first and second, respectively. And then just a bunch of other decks where I really don't mind having a Bolt. Like Burn, Blitz, Death and Taxes, E-Tron, even against Jund, Bolts are just fine. Heliod Company as well, obviously. And I mentioned there's not a lot of graveyard decks going on right now. There's just really just the one Dredge deck right here. And then we've got Jund in at 9th place. That's the highest I've seen it in a while. Escape Shift in at 4th as well. I'm assuming this is playing like the Omnath type shenanigans, but we're happy to see most of these matchups, with the exception of basically just Dredge and Tron, I think. Escape Shift and Amulet Titan are worrisome, as is E-Tron, but I think the Amulet Titan matchup's actually pretty good. And Scape Shift, I think, is a little harder because they could just draw the Scape Shift and kill us, obviously, which is unfortunate. What's up, Mark? Alright, so let's just jump into this league without me blabbering too much. That was fast. We're already ahead. Look at that. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I actually did not update the Stream Decker. Let me go ahead and do that right now, actually. We've got a keeper, and the opponent has revealed Yorion. I mean, this hand's probably fine versus Yorion, especially if we're playing against, like, DNT. This hand's going to be excellent. Maybe we can snipe a Vial. Oh, it's 5-color Niv? Alright, that's going to be a little bit harder. All of these cards are pretty annoying. I think I might just take the bird, though, because otherwise they're going to cast a turn 2 Teferi, and that's annoying. Alternatively, I could just take the Teferi. They don't have anything else to ramp into, and Teferi is real annoying versus Tarmogoyf. I think it's between bird and Teferi. I'll just take the card that's inherently better. Bird's going to be worse as we go along. Oops. Alright, let's bring that over here. Alright, so I'm going to get that Stream Decker updated. Alright, there's the bird. Alright, we drew a land. Land's fine. We can cast Liliana off of that land. Bird's gone. Alright, so I guess pretty easy turn. Cast a Tarmogoyf. And this Tarmogoyf cannot get Lightning Helix because there's not an instant in the yard. Goyf would grow. They played Temple Garden and nothing. Alright, that's good. So now we get to just Liliana Edict it. Do I want to fetch basic Swamp? I don't think I'm Kolaghan's commanding. That's probably better used on a future turn. I've got more red. Basic Swamp is probably pretty free. My life total could come up. Let's conserve it where it's free. Kill the bird. Jam for, I guess, 4. This is going pretty well. We'd be very, very behind if we were on the draw. Alright, John. Number 66. Alright, I believe Stream Decker should be updated now. Let me give it a shot. Yeah, that link is different. We should be good now. Alright, so the opponent has drawn that land. Alright, so it's 3 plus 2 cards we don't know. I definitely want to play the Ravine. I don't think I'm going to play other Liliana. I think I'm going to probably end up casting Kolaghan's Command this turn. I don't know what I'm discarding, but I'm definitely discarding. It might just be Kroxa. The opponent has so many cards in hand that, like, Kroxa is unlikely to hit something that's a Haymaker. I guess I'll ditch Kroxa, play a land. I can, like, hold up Kolaghan's Command. Maybe Kolaghan's Command just, like, has the opponent discard. I could even just buy back Kroxa if there's no better other mode. Forest, a little awkward in that it doesn't escape Kroxa. How's the Courser felt? Don't know. I haven't played it yet. So they might just throw the Helix at this Liliana here, but that's okay. We've got a backup. Oh, I remember Greenwood Value Town being pretty popular like a year or two back, and Corsair was excellent there. I remember. All right, so they're doing this now. Sure. Do I want to use this Kolaghan's Command? Honestly, I might. If I use it now and I draw a fetch land, I get to escape Kroxa, and that seems pretty powerful. And if that's the play, I think I'm also having the opponent discard, because they've got 3 cards left, and attacking the hand when Kroxa may be escaping seems pretty good. Especially with a Liliana as a follow-up. So let's just, I guess, have the opponent discard and shock them. I mean, it's not super impressive, but I'm playing this Liliana next turn no matter what, and then the turn after that is almost definitely going to be used escaping Kroxa, assuming I find the land. I could also just bring back Kroxa, but I think I want to escape it. If I draw a fetch land, then that means that I can't bring it back. So, shock you, discard. Not super impressive, but I think I want to use the mana here, especially when my mana is so tied up moving forward. What matchups do I have in mind with the Corsair? Well, Burn is number 1 at the moment. And there's also just a lot of grindy mid-range matchups, and I really like being able to play lands off the top. Like, it doesn't matter if your opponent knows what you're drawing, as long as what you're drawing isn't land. Sick, we drew the fetch. Alright, well, I'll attack first. They discarded Trophy, wow. Alright, so maybe they've got a similar effect rolled up. Alright. And obviously I want to attack first because I want to keep the Tarmogoyf slightly larger. So we've got red, red, black. Does it matter? Can we get Stomping Ground in escape here? Yes. I think I want to get more black, though, because if I draw, like, a push or something that I want to use, like, I want to Liliana and do that in the same turn. So between Overgrown Tomb and Stomping Grounds, I guess there's not really a reason to have a lot of green. Let's just get Blood Crypt. Yeah, sure. So really attacking the opponent's hand here feels pretty nice. Oh yeah, it's probably excellent with Ren and 6. I haven't assembled it yet, but I guess we'll see. Cool. Alright, taking a game on Niv is pretty excellent. This is probably a matchup where I want Courser. I definitely feel like I have to be the aggro deck in this matchup, so killing the opponent on, I think it was my turn 5, was pretty good. Goifon 2 and into Liliana's into Kroxa is a good way to do that. I don't think they have artifacts and enchantments that I care about. Wildfire could be cute because of their mana has the potential of being so horrendous, and they also play like Utopia Sprawl. They don't have anything graveyard related. Huntmaster could be good just because it's going to be slow and grindy. Brutality could name like... Sorry, Engineered... Play Engineer could name like Elf, but it doesn't seem great. So Brutality for any reason. They do play a lot of instants and sorceries, and there's a decent amount that it kills. So here's like the maybe piles. Yeah, like the like I said, like it's not like card advantage, but it's card advantage. Like you're not drawing lands, which means you're drawing spells most of the time. Obviously you can have 2 lands on top, but there are also ways to filter it, right, with like the fetch lands and such. It's got a lot of nice combos with just like the rules of Magic. So, on the draw, I think I'm going to cut a push. Bolt probably just better, because bolts go face, and they kill about the same stuff. I don't think Hologon's command is going to be particularly amazing. I think on the draw, Liliana probably a bit weaker. It's a mid-range matchup, right? So, like, I expect Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes to be kind of weak, and we already brought in Brutality as well, so that's a lot of that effect. And it's an effect that I don't even like that much to begin with, but I mean, at least Brutality can also kill a thing, right? So maybe I just like do something similar to this. I wouldn't mind some number of these 3 back in the deck, but I mean, everything else just seems like it's gonna be better. Like, maybe I can take out more of the 1s, because the game is going to go long, but I do want to have something to do on turn 1, be it kill a bird or cast an Inquisition. Let's give this a go. And I think I want to keep the Thoughtseizes over the Inquisitions, because the opponent's going to be playing stuff like Bring to Light, Niv Mizzet, Scapeshift. The cards, the cards that kill us by themselves that get taken by Thoughtseize and not Inquisition. Well, we can kill the bird. Thing is, if we find lands, which this hand desperately needs, our hand doesn't even become that good. So I think this is a ship. Damn. Alright, well, I guess I'm going again. Okay. Let's keep. How important is it to kill a bird on 1? Probably pretty important. But what if they've got Utopia Sprawl instead of the bird? Then this bolt looks really stupid. I think I'm definitely keeping at least 1 Goyf. In fact, since I am such like the beatdown and I'm on so few cards, maybe I should just ditch the Courser and keep both Goyfs. I'm definitely bidding 1 of these and probably 1 of these. Like, I need a backup threat for when they remove my first, because I think, have to be the beatdown. I don't think I need both removal spells. I think in the off chance the opponent has a bird, I fall so far behind, so I think if I'm bidding 1 of these 2, it's Pulse. And then maybe I should just keep a Diversity, so maybe I just bid 2nd Goyf. Like, if I hit 3rd land, then maybe Courser is a way to dig me out of a mulligan. So this seems fine. I'll click that link after the match. Alright, Wildfire. Okay. Land go. I'm going to want to be sure to get, I guess, double green. So maybe I even get Stomping Ground if there's something that I need to bolt. Because I want to bolt and have green. So maybe I get, like, Stomping Ground, Overgrown Tomb. What's up, Duck Cakes? Glad you can catch one. Yeah, my schedule at work recently changed. So Mondays and Tuesdays. Oh, God. I don't have to go into the office anymore. So Monday and Tuesday I might be streaming more in the daytime. Alright, well, Cleansing Wildfire looking kind of silly in the face of this Ren. If I play Tarmogoyf, it can just get bolted down. Unfortunately, casting Bolt doesn't actually do anything to change that. Push. Alright, well, I think I'm not gonna not cast Tarmogoyf. So I think I'm just gonna feel really bad if they've got Helix. And Mark Moling, thank you for the subscription. Wow, I really appreciate it. Never necessary, but always welcome. Thanks for the sub. Alright, can we hit a land for the Courser? I want to see how it does. Alright, we don't. Brutal. This is not looking good, not gonna lie. I mean, I could Wildfire. I know they've got the Renin 6, but at least it draws another card. This Brutality just is not looking super impressive. I guess let's try to draw a card. Yeah, I would often stream on Wednesday nights. All right, well, we didn't hit the land. Brutal. Yeah, my stream schedule is so sporadic. Just because I usually turn it on whenever I've got the time to do it, right? Glad you love the YouTube. Good to hear. Yeah, I've been really astounded by all the support that I've been getting. Land? All right, well, if it's not a land, I'm glad it's that. I think I tweeted literally a week ago that I broke 300 subscribers, and I was real excited about that. And then I'm at 397 right now on my YouTube. So it looks like I'm going to be putting out that 400 tweet pretty soon, which is pretty amazing to me. Alright, well, we're getting absolutely dumpstered. No lands will do that. Glad you could stop by and have some company then. Alright, well, we're dead, right? We're just straight dead. We could bolt red and 6, but I think I'm just going to Brutality to get some info, and then I'll bow out. Alright, nothing we weren't really expecting to see. Lots of cards that individually beat us. And like I said, I think since there are so many expensive cards that the opponent has that pretty much by themselves can give us the hands, we really do have to be the beatdown, which is why I was considering just keeping double Tarmogoyf over the Courser. We're on the play, though, this game, so it definitely gets better. On the play, I think maybe the 1 mana discard is worth more. Like, maybe I bring it in over Brutality, which is just, like, a similar effect. I don't think I want to bring in too much of it, though. Like, Brutality can take, like, the Bring to Lights and the Scape Shifts, whereas Inquisition can't. But on the play, I think these have a lot more value. Maybe just one Brutality. It's not exciting. Liliana also probably better on the play. Attacking the hand on the play is really good, right? Yeah, this matchup isn't excellent. I think we have to have a really quick start or we just fall behind really fast. And we did see the opponent is playing Renin 6, so Wildfire looks weaker, but they still play stuff like Utopia Sprawl, which Wildfire is nice to hit. I mean, absolute worst case scenario, it redraws, but like the time when it's good, it's just actually very good. Maybe I will just cut one. It's not fantastic, but it is good enough. Be right back in a few seconds. Oh, what's up, Diamonds? How have I liked Unravel? It feels narrow. I am testing it. I have never actually cast that card. I mean, I assume it's good versus obviously the green white Heliod deck because you can tuck the Heliod. But I mean, it's got its other uses, right? Like you bring it in versus Tron, I would assume. Oh, well. So I did mention that we need Tarmogoyfs, right? This hand has 2 of those and the lands to cast them. As crazy as it sounds, I think this is a keep. We have a black spell we can't cast, but I think Goyf is probably the most important card in the matchup, and we've got 2 of it. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So we drew the land. What Snapcaster's referring to is I love Vintage Cube, and yesterday he and I we drafted a deck with Dak Faden and Consecrated Sphinx, and the opponent had no cards in hand, and I would target them with Dak, so they would just like mill 2, and I would draw 4. It was really busted. Alright, so I think I'm getting Overgrown Tomb here. I'm going to cast a Tarmogoyf, and the next turn I can Inquisition plus Tarmogoyf and smack. Seems good. And again, like this could get Helixed, which would be unfortunate, but I can't just not play my best creature. Like I need to beat down, pretty sure. Or well, that's not Helix mana. It's Thoughtseize mana though. I think they just take other Goyf here. Yeah, like if the first Goyf dies, we've got the backup. Maybe not now. I think they should probably, definitely take Goyf, because like Goyf's the card that kills them, right? Or we drew Bolt. So I could cast Courser here, or I could cast Inquisition and Wildfire. I don't think Bolt is a real option. Courser might be nice just because it's another thing that is going to be attacking sooner rather than later. Is there anything at 3 mana that I'm super worried about? I guess Teferi Time Raveler is the card that immediately comes to mind. I mean, Inquisition could also grow the Goyf, which is another way to continue attacking for more. I think I'm leaning towards the Inquisition Wildfire line, but the other way that this gets punished is what if the opponent has Veil of Summer? Do we want to just Cleansing Wildfire first? I did not have the Black Source on turn 1, so that is why I did not Inquisition. I kept a hand of 2 Goyf, Mountain, Basic Forest, off of the assumption that Goyf is one of the more important cards, and I had 2 and the lands to cast them. Also, Inquisition was our only black spell at the time, and it still is. Alright, I think I'm going to go the route of Cleansing Wildfire Inquisition, which means I'll play Forest Wildfire off of my basics, and this is to play around Veil of Summer. Do this first. Oh, well, that just auto-resolved. I guess they don't have it then. And I think if they had the Wrenn and 6, they would have just cast it. Aw, they have 2 Teferis? Judge, my opponent is cheating. Alright, well, I guess Bolt can finish off the other Teferi, but I'd really like to play this Courser. Here's the Tef. Brutal. I mean, I guess another consideration to playing Courser was like if the opponent had Teferi to bounce something, the other creature in play could finish it. Ravine's a good one. We're not certain that Inquisition actually hits anything right now. I think I'm just going to finish Teferi, play Goyf, play land. Courser's gonna get played next turn and probably be good. We drew another Goyf. That's good. They went land pass. All right, so next turn is the Bring to Light turn. So I think Supreme Verdict is something to be concerned about. We've got Ravine though, and Ravine is a nice way to follow up. I guess we just lead here, right? This doesn't restrict our other plays mana wise. We don't know that it's gonna hit anything. But I mean, there's not really a better time to cast it, right? Oh, darn. So they've got double Bring to Light. Any land, I'm assuming that hits Verdict. Pretty rough. I think I'm still playing Courser and smacking for 5. I mean, if they do Verdict us, we'll have Goyf as a follow-up, but then they just have another Bring to Light. I mean, I guess I'm attacking first. Alright, that connects. Alright, now I guess I'm going to Courser. Land on top? Sick. I mean, that enables the Ravine. Like, if they do Supreme Verdict me here, I think I'm just going to activate the Ravine and smack them. Because that puts them to 2, and that puts them in range of any number of our bolts. They're not casting Bring to Light. What could that mean? Alright, I don't think I want to draw this Inquisition, so let's just fetch it away. They're going to get to see what we draw, but that probably doesn't change anything. Alright, we're going to get second black. We've got lots of greens, so I guess Blood Crypt is good. Kroxa on top? That's good. Peatland on top. Of course they're doing work. Oh, it's hard to read the Goyf Power Toughness. Yeah, I don't like how it's like got this blue color to it. I really wish they just made it black. I mean, I guess it's because it's like a dynamic Power Toughness. So, I guess that's the reasoning. So I'm assuming the correct line here is just lead on an attack and see what happens, right? I guess I could Kroxa first, and then I guess I can't escape Kroxa, right? Because this forest is being annoying. Also to note, I have this decay on top. I can sacrifice it at Peatland at instant speed to get access to it if I want. So like if they flash in a Quaddle, for example, maybe I just decay it. This is a Kaya's Guile, maybe. I mean, if this is Guile, make a 1/1. I'm gonna kill the 1/1. Of course, they're gotta go to main board. Drew 2 cards already. Each opponent sacrifices a creature and you gain 4. If I sacrifice the Courser, that adds enchantment, right? Which means the opponent goes to 4, which I think is very relevant because that's a single hit from a Ravine if they Verdict. So I think I'm just gonna say that the Courser has done its job and sacrifice that. And then I could just play second Tarmogoyf, and I think I want to, because that puts the opponent on, I guess, needing to play Verdict, and then that has them just dead to the Ravine that's in play. So I think Goyf is going to really force that issue. Because like, if they tap out for Niv here and they've got a blocker, it's bad for me. So I'll Kroxa first, so the opponent doesn't have that kind of info. And then I'll cast Tarmogoyf, leave up Peatland and another land. It looked very good here, right? Like, the Courser did the thing we were hoping it would do. They ditch or Bring to Light. Okay, and then again, I'm aware they're probably going to be able to Verdict. But I'm banking on them actually doing that. I Because if they don't Verdict, I feel like they're in a pretty bad spot. Excellent. Sick. 1-0. Yeah, enchantment is not something that I have in my own graveyard very often. It's pretty much only like Courser that's an enchantment and like sometimes Seal of Fire, right? Are there any others? I guess like people who play Clothis, that doesn't usually go to the graveyard. On the play, I think this is a clear keep. I think that if we're playing against like a slow grindy deck, this hand's excellent. If we play against anything fast, we're gonna look stupid. Oh yeah, I've had Goyf being 8-9 a few times thanks to Bitter Blossom. It's fun tech. Alright, well Meyer pass off of a mulligan. If we're playing against the Jund Mirror, this is kind of the nuts hand, but if we're playing against like Shadow or something, I still feel pretty behind. Please don't be red-green. Oh, it's the mirror. Alright, this hand's nuts. No Ren in 6, please. Ren in 6 would be unfortunate. That's fine. We drew push too? Alright, well I could just play Tarmogoyf, but I think I'm just going to use the push. Tarmogoyf really opens us up to getting dunked on by an opposing Liliana. Like, the other consideration is I could just Kroxa here, and then next turn I could Goyf and push just to use my mana more efficiently. But I think that has me getting more susceptible to like an Inquisition or Thoughtseize, and the opponent does play a good many of those. Is there any reason to wait? I'm only taking one right now. Is there something I would want to kill more? I guess like maybe Dark Confidant, but I can Kolaghan's Command that. There's not really a card that I'm more worried about, so I guess I just save the one life. It's kind of free, right? Like the thing I would want to kill is like a Courser, right? But I don't even have Revolt for that, so I guess Kroxa does Revolt. Here's the Liliana. No? Ooze. They left a green up, so they can eat Tarmogoyf. Can't play Kroxa. Alright, well our hand's gonna be pretty nutty. I think I'm just gonna pass here. I think they're probably eating this Tarmogoyf at end step, and then I can shoot the ooze. Yeah. So I'll just have you discard, shoot the ooze. Like, there's a slight gamble here. The opponent's got a lot of green, so maybe they just wait and just untap and then make it so I can't effectively kill their ooze. But, I mean, Goyf isn't really looking that impressive in the face of an ooze, and it also just opens me up to all of their removal. So I think taking the slightly higher risk but much higher upside play is good. Obviously, we need to hit a land, and then I feel like we probably can't lose as long as this Bloodbraid isn't absurd. Hit like a push or something. Oh, they hit a Ren. That's bad. Alright, if we hit a land, we're good. If we don't, it'll be unfortunate. Land. It's going to be Raging Ravine or Blackleaf Cliffs. There are 2 more tapped lands in the deck. Land. Yes. Alright. I think it is possible that my life total comes up. So I think I'm just going to get basic Swamp here. We need another land to activate the Ravine anyway. And Forest is not going to escape Kroxa. But I mean, my mana is so tied up on casting Bloodbraid Elves that maybe it just doesn't matter. We're not playing anything that like lots of green is needed for. So I think Swamp is probably just free. Yeah, let's get the Swamp. Bloodbraid. Lightning Bolts. We could just kill this Ren in 6. Or we could just kill the Bloodbraid It's probably best just to kill the Planeswalker. We're really not caring too much about a 3/2. Let's kill the Planeswalker. Easy clap. We've been over this. Stop calling my worst draws. Alright, well, they're going to get the bad news. They can't take Kroxa. I'm just going to escape that if I find anything to go to the yard. Nice. Nice. You see, the way to win the Judmere, it's really simple. I don't know why most people don't do this. You just have to draw all your Blood Braids. Like, it's not that difficult, guys. Alright, gonna bring in Spellbomb for opposing Kroxas, Huntmaster for obvious reasons, Courser for obvious reasons. I don't think I want anything else. So Dark Confidant, it's awkward in the mirror because Bob is excellent on either side of the table, but if the opponent has Ren and 6, it looks silly. But if you've got the Bob, they don't have the Ren and 6, the Bob just goes ridiculous. And then we're playing against the mirror, so let's cut all of these crappy discard spells. And if I'm gonna keep one discard spell, I guess it's gonna be Thoughtseize, like that one takes the higher impact stuff, like Bloodbraid. No, my name's the same. Which account are you talking about? I mean, I haven't changed anything. Like, I've always been Junderdome on Twitch, and then my username on Magic Online has always been Visions. And it's Visions because I got Magic Online back when I played Splinter Twin. And I think as soon as I got Magic Online, they banned Splinter Twin. So that's why it's that. Yeah, Bob and Courser are very good. Cards that draw cards in addition to attacking are my favorite kind of cards. Is it worth it to bring in Wildfire over other Thoughtseize? It just redraws, and like redraws are so much better than Hand Disruption here. But it hits Ravine. It's bad versus Ren and 6, but it's so Thoughtseize is so bad. I'm gonna draw that Thoughtseize late game and feel sad, but let's keep it. If it were ever unbanned, would you go back? I'd play both probably. Jund does get better, I think, in a world where Twin exists. Like Twin's one of Twin's worst matchups was Jund. Land, go. See Bloodbraid off the top. Boom. That's good too. Alright, Ravine pass. Yeah, Decay was one of those cards where it's just like, crap. You know, honestly though, I remember that Teamer Twin was a thing. And Teamer Twin would then get access to Veil of Summer, which is a way to beat Decay. But I mean, they still have to have it, right? It ain't free. Bloodbraid. See, I told you. Alright, so I think between Bob and Ren and 6, I'm playing Ren and 6. Bob is more susceptible to a wider range of removal spells. So let's Overgrown Tomb, Ren and 6, buy back a land. Like, if I go Bob and they just, like, bolt or push it here, I'm going to feel pretty silly when I could have played Ren and 6. And then Liliana, I think, is going to be best used as a Sorcery Speed Edict. I don't think I'm going to play it before the opponent plays a creature. But we'll see. Yeah, Tarmo Twin was really fun. I forget the name of the player who first innovated that. I've got a picture of him in my head. I think he was Dutch. I want to say he was Dutch. Oh, that's brutal. Alright. Our fetches are looking kind of dumb. As are our Kroxas. We're going to need to find, I guess, untapped land that isn't a fetch. I mean, yes and no. Pepper Charmers. I'm sure his name will just pop into my head at some point. Alright, well, I guess I'm playing Bob. They could obviously pretty easily kill it as they could have before, but I don't have much better to do. If I cast Kroxa, it's just getting swept away by Ashiok. Although maybe they do want to not use Ashiok, because then it could get bolted. I'm trying to remember this dude's name. I follow him on Twitter, so I could probably just look it up. That's what I was afraid of. Untapped land that isn't a fetch would be really good here. And I don't think they want to activate this Ashiok, because then it could get bolted. Alright, we're pretty behind here. This Ashiok is doing us dirty. Oh, they do want to activate. Interesting. Untapped land. Oh my god, we're lucky. We're so lucky. Alright. Can we hit like a bolt or something? Kill both walkers? We hit the one Thoughtseize when we could have hit the wildfire for the ravine. I mean, I guess I'm casting it. Goyf, Goyf? Sure. I mean, we answered a Goyf. I think I'm just gonna kill the Ashiok here. I want these Kroxas to be turned on sooner rather than later. And if the opponent just goes like Goyf pass, we can Liliana Edict it and then kill the Liliana that way. So we're going to hope that the one card that they've drawn isn't Veil of Summer. I guess now it really doesn't matter. Just ditch a land. I could ditch a Kroxa, but Kroxas are bolts every single time I cast them. So remember how I said I was really behind? Yeah, I lied. That's the nuts draw too, is we get to play that. The opponent could crack Peatland in hopes to find a bolt or a push, which they probably should do. Do I think Jun could play Blood Moon or Kalidas? I think you would have to dramatically... For Blood Moon, you'd have to dramatically change the main deck configuration, because it's much harder to play double black spells like Liliana and Kroxa when you're trying to make Blood Moon work. But I mean, it's not impossible. Alright, so they've got Ravine, but that doesn't mean anything. And then Kalidas. Kalidas is, I guess, possible. They can buy it back Tarmogoyf. Play Tarmogoyf. Yeah, that's not nothing. I mean, if we hit untapped land here, I get to play Kroxa, discard a Kroxa, escape a Kroxa. Goyf. Sure, so do I want to suicide the Bloodbraid to kill that Liliana? Maybe. Let's just see what we hit. That's really good. Javik87, thank you for the follow. I guess I'm playing Kroxa, plussing, discarding Kroxa, fetching, escaping Kroxa. I can do all of that on top of killing Liliana. I guess if they trade with Bloodbraid, it gets even easier, right? Because I could just exile the Bloodbraid. They're at 15, Liliana's on 1, but I think if for any reason, if I don't get to kill this Liliana and then they can buy something else back, that could be problematic. Alright, so kind of bolt you. Plus this. Ditch a Kroxa. Play a land. escape a Kroxa. This is just an absolute clinic. We were behind until we drew that land untapped on demand. Magic gets a lot easier if you just draw whatever you want, turns out. We could get Damnations. That's about the only way I think we could lose this. Yeah. All hail King Kroxa. You saw the stream title. Not that we needed Kroxa there to win, but it definitely made it easier. Yeah, it definitely turned around pretty quick. Oh, someone had sent me a link earlier that I said I would look at, and then I just didn't. So let me find that real fast. Oh, it was you, Mark? Did you send me the same thing twice? I'll just click both. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay, sorry I forgot earlier, but I'll look at it now. Yeah, John's on easy mode. You just have to draw the good cards. Yeah, this deck looks sweet. The green-white Value Town stuff. Yeah, this deck's sweet. You got a match. How lucky. Pubbin. Valakut is a dirty card. I don't know why that thing isn't legendary, but... Ooh, this hand's cool. This hand is very disruptive, but not very attacky-y. So hopefully it's a matchup where we've got some time. So obviously turn 1 Inquisition. If we've got nothing better to do, we're going to Kroxa on 2. Verdant. Is it a mirror again? Is it a mirror again? Goose. Okay, I guess not a mirror. I guess this is most likely the Golgari Yawgmoth deck that Tom Ross has been trying to innovate. Alright, well, easy turn 1 play. And it is. Okay. So between Eldritch Evolution and Geralf's Messenger... I mean, they can turn to either of these things. I think I'm taking the Messenger. Like, Evolution, I think most often gets Yawgmoth, but they've already got that. And Messenger is a real headache for me to try to beat. I think I'm just going to take that. Oh, yeah, I remember the days of Rogue Scapeshift. Rogue Scapeshift was always pretty sweet. I always feel like I would get them to like 3 or 4 life, or like even 1 or 2, and then I would just basically just die to a top deck Scapeshift, and I always be salty about it. But I mean, it is what it is. Oh yeah, Flagstones is a funny land with all of the new combos with it. You want to evolution your Goose? Be my guest. They used this. You're gonna get a 3-drop. This is like another Geralf's Messenger. Probably. Yeah. Rude. So they've got 2 cards. But I mean, they're short on mana. I'm just gonna go Swamp Kroxa. I mean, I don't have anything better to do. Kroxa is also just like fine here. They're 2 mana off of Yawgmoth still. Like, this thing is going to attack and be annoying in that way. So this comes with a minus counter, right? It comes with a plus counter, okay. I always confused Persist and Undying. This is definitely a known archetype. This is the Yawgmoth combo deck. The combo is they assemble Yawgmoth and any 2 Undying creatures, and then Undying has it coming back with a plus counter, and then you can sack an Undying creature to put a minus counter on your other Undying creature, and then when one has a minus counter and a plus counter, they cancel. So you can go like pseudo infinite with it. Pseudo infinite because every time you sack something, you lose a life, and draw a card. But the opponent, if you're sacking something like Messenger and the opponent is losing 2 life with each iteration, usually the opponent will die first. So I can Peatland to Kolagon's command. I think I actually do want to do that, and I'll do it upkeep so that the Messenger can't attack. We can eat the opponent's last card. I would want to get Forest with this, but I don't want to get Forest because that has Kroxa being pretty difficult to escape. So I think I'm going to Peatland and do it. Yeah, so we'll upkeep it. Okay, command, shock the Messenger. Don't hurt me, I'm just the Messenger. Yeah, but you're Geralf's Messenger. Alright, so discard 2 to a target. You ditch, you shock. It was just a land, okay. Alright, so we're gonna go to 12 here off of the ETB. Worst case, we could Maelstrom Pulse it. If they hit a land here, I'll feel pretty ahead. Sure. That's hardly anything. So, I think now I am going to, I guess, Maelstrom Pulse? I could just kill the Messenger. Yeah, just kill the Messenger. If I fetch here, I'm going to have a fetch in the yard and a pulse in the yard. So if I draw any fetch on the following turn, I can escape Kroxa, which is a pretty sure way to win. Is it worth fetching? If I would have to get basic Forest. I mean, I've got Blood Crypt in hand, so I'm not short on escaping mana. But every time I tap Peatland, I'm taking a life. So there's some consideration to being careful about the lands. I do think I want to kill this just to keep my life total high. So I think what I'll do is I'll pulse this, then I'll just play the Verdant Sago. Kill that, yep. And then this will probably be something like a Stomping Ground. Just get second red, second green. And then any fetch escaping Kroxa feels like a pretty good spot to be in. Like, they could obviously draw some nutty stuff to make it harder. But if they just draw lands, I'll feel good. Alright, that's annoying. So again, when I kill these, they'll come back as 2/2s. Luckily, the opponent is short on mana, so a Yawgmoth isn't just an insane draw. Say no. Alright, so fetch would be pretty good. Ravine. Do I want to sacrifice the Peatland here? I think I do. That's going to guarantee the next card in the yard. Then I can just go Ravine and Kroxa anyway. Like, I do want to guarantee another card on the yard. I mean, casting Kroxa does something similar. But if I draw, like, if I draw a 2-mana play, I'm going to really wish I'd been able to cast it. Like, Goyf would be an excellent hit here. Probably the best case. Excellent. Alright, so that's going to stonewall their creatures. And then we can go Ravine and escape Kroxa next turn. And I'm feeling pretty comfortable now. They could maybe Eldritch Evolution into something scary. But Goyf was an excellent hit. Wall, that's fine. I mean, that's their next mana, so like if they do find a I guess another Yawgmoth or an Eldritch Evolution, we could be in some scary trouble. I think it's a little late for Bob to be good. Like this is looking like a clean escape Kroxa. Do I want to attack? I don't think that I do. If let's assume they brick, I attack, they block, I play Kroxa. They're at 14. They're gonna have, I guess, if they were to attack, they can only put me to 1. I think an attack is probably correct. Like, I do need to get them dead at some point. Oh no, what am I talking about? They just block with wall. That's stupid. Ignore me. So I'm gonna escape Kroxa. And I guess play a Blood Crypt tapped. All hail King Kroxa. Goyf obviously shrinking here, but fine. How come Tireless Tracker isn't played with Ren and 6? Tracker is generally pretty slow. It looks pretty garbage versus all the hyper aggro stuff. But I mean, if you're going to play against mid-range decks all day, it's probably fine. And I took the Seasoned Pyromancer out because I think there was like 5 or 6 Gen Leagues in a row where I was playing a couple of them. And at the end of every league, I would, without a doubt, say, well, the card I've been least impressed with is Seasoned Pyromancer. So I just took it out and I haven't missed it. I was one of the few people, I think, in the beginning of Seasoned Pyromancer's time that just like wasn't playing it because I wasn't super excited about it. And I mean, I really haven't regretted taking it out. It's fine. Like I feel like the best thing that it does is buy time. Like obviously, if you're hellbent and you can play it and draw 2, then that's like its best case scenario. But even then, that situation doesn't come up a lot. All right, so I'm really hoping the opponent hasn't found a Cord here because Cord would put Yawgmoth into play immediately. They can activate Wall of Roots and then have 7 mana. Yeah, like the Pyromancer, like most of the time, like you want it to be like the last thing that you cast, right? Oh, they found the Cord. Brutal. Cord was like the one really, really scary thing here. Alright, so there's Yawgmoth. Luckily, they don't have any like infinite combo type deals. I mean, these are gonna loop to draw the opponent a lot of cards, which is bad for me. Maybe they shrink my Kroxa. Alright, let's yield to this. I don't feel like doing all the clicking. Glad you can catch one, Javik. Just yield to this. I don't feel like responding. Yeah, I mean the Cord was the dangerous thing. I mean they could have also hit Evolution Yawgmoth, so there were like a few things I was definitely scared of. Yeah, this just undies. Just sack it. Alright, so yeah, they do have the kind of infinite loop. And like Kroxas aren't even that good for having the opponent discard, right? Because they just come back. Or they just draw cards and make it worse. So, I mean, I guess I'm just playing everything. It's like actual everything in my hand. I'll have the opponent discard first. I'll keep the Kroxa that's in play, obviously. Oh, I turned off auto yields. Oh, I just haven't stacked it yet, sure. Bob looks pretty silly in the face of a Yawgmoth. But I mean, I can't really wait on it. I'll just play it and accept the fact that it's going to die. I mean, they have to use a trigger on it. They're at 7, right? So, like, it's not impossible that they have to stop activating Yawgmoth pretty soon. They do have to pay a life every single time. So, I mean, it's not literally free. Oh man, they've been drawn hot. Well, I guess like once you have the combo like 2 Undying Creatures and a Yawgmoth, it's pretty hard to not draw hot. All right, so this does have us dying because they net neutral on life and they drain us each time, so we are just dead. Yagi. Alright, Plague Engineer. Brutality kills most things. Spellbomb's good because it'll actually break up the Undying. Might be a matchup where we also want Courser if we're going long. Brutality kills a thing. It takes like Eldritch Evolution and the whatchamacallit, the chord that we just died to. Don't know that that's good enough. The hand disruption definitely feels pretty weak. Like, it's gonna be good on the first 2 or 3 turns, but after that it does not seem like it's gonna be where I want to be. Where's the Wheel of Sun and Moon? I can't say I've ever played that out of a Jund's deck, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think I'm bringing in Brutality. I do think I want to cut some of the discard. The only thing that Thoughtseize hits and Inquisition doesn't is the actual Yawgmoth. But I mean, life total is a factor. It's like their backup plan is just be a black-green mid-range deck, and that is pretty good most of the time. I think I'm going to cut a good chunk of the discard. I really like the Bobs, the Renin 6s, all the removal. Honestly, Kroxa does look to be one of the more weak cards. Let's cut 1, but that feels not great. I think I'm going to shave... Maybe Liliana is just bad, right? Because like if I Edict, an Undying creature just comes back and kills Liliana, and that doesn't feel good. So maybe I just bring in other Kroxa over like more Lilianas. This would need me bringing 1 card back. If I'm bringing 1 card in, I think it's between Inquisition, a Brutality, and maybe even a Huntmaster, just as another grindy tool. But I think I'd rather, since they do have that good combo element, have a more interactive piece, which would be not Huntmaster. So Inquisition and Brutality. Since I'm on the play, maybe I'm leaning Inquisition. But I mean, Inquisitions are severely worse. Why? Did Moto freeze? Okay, it unfroze. Inquisitions are going to be worse top deck, so I'm going to be wary of that. Yeah, like Brutality kills things. I mean, Inquisition also takes Chord and Evolution. I think on the play I want the Inquisition. Yeah, sure, that sounds good. So I'll Blood Crypt on 1. Maybe I should Overgrown Tomb on 1, because that means if I draw untapped lands, I could Goyf on 2, which is probably a better play than just like another discard spell and a spell bomb. So yeah, I think I'll Overgrown Tomb. There's like not a red spell in my hand that I really need to cast early. So let's do this off a Tomb. Target you. Gonna have to be wary of Veil of Summer. Like if they've got Veil, maybe I have to take it so that way second Inquisition can be good. Alright, their hand is stacked. I mean, I guess I just take their Accelerant, right? Like their 1-mana Accelerant. They've got lots of Accelerants. But I mean, because I got so many Accelerants, and this game is gonna go long, maybe I just want to take like a payoff, which would be Chord. Let's take the Chord. I think Chord's gonna be better long term. Yeah. I don't really think bolting the bird is necessary here. Like we know the rest of their hand. They don't have any ridiculous 3 or 4 drops that we're super scared of right now. So with the knowledge that they're not really ramping into anything ridiculous, I'm more inclined to just take their payoff piece. Right, of course, there's the bolt. I mean, I'm gonna cast the card that I am able to cast with the mana that I have, and then I'll take another payoff here. All right, they drew their Yawgmoth. Let's take the Stringergeist, play a land, say go. We're doing okay, though. We get to Bolt Bird, play Spellbomb, even if we don't hit a land. And if we do hit a land, we could just like name a bird with the Engineer if we feel like it. MTGO heard Bolt. Yeah, that's why I drew it, right? Wall. Yep. Alright, so doing okay. Please play another bird and like let us draw a land. Oh, you drew a Geist. Sure. Looking bad, not gonna lie. Goyphopotamus. So the opponent does have mana for Yawgmoth unless I bolt their thing. I think I am just gonna bolt their thing, the bird that is, and then like I can play a spell bomb if they start trying to go crazy with Undying. I can pop spell bomb. It's not a fantastic position. They've got so much mana though. Maybe I should just kill the Undying creature. It's pretty close. I definitely think I'm not playing Goyf here. There's no way that turns out well for me. I think I need to control the board before I start aggroing. I am not the beatdown here. I mean, like, if I kill a bird, then maybe the opponent is off of Yawgmoth for a turn. I mean, if they're off of Yawgmoth for a turn and then I draw a land and I've got like Spell Bomb up and I can play Time Wave, that might be a game that I'm winning. I think I'll do that. Let's hope the opponent bricks on land once. Play the bomb. Say go. Yeah, this matchup I think is fairly even. I think we're disfavored game one. All right, well, that's a tap land. So that's kind of a brick. There's the wall. All right, so we know the opponent's hand is Yawgmoth. Kroxa would be a fine draw too, because then we can have the opponent ditch the Yawgmoth. Alright, we drew the land. Okay. So, I guess I'm going to go basic swamp, play Tarmogoyf, hold up a spell bomb. I could engineer to like name Geist, or sorry, name Spirit. But I mean, they need a second Undying creature for a loop to be established, so I think this is as good a window as any to just put a blocker up and hold up a spell bomb. And then I'll hold up Tomb, obviously, so I can draw a card off of spell bomb if I want. Is it Yagi time? Looks like it. Yep. Alright, so this is going to be annoying. Alright, so with Undying on the stack, I'm going to use the Spell Bomb. Goyf's going to shrink a little bit, but I think I need to snipe the Undying creature. It's a good draw. Because like they could still like finitely loop this Undying creature with just like the other creatures they've got in play. Do I want to just cast a Bloodbraid here? Like the upside is like if Bloodbraid hits removal, that's gonna feel really good. But I mean, casting either one of these doesn't seem particularly impressive either. Yeah, I think I'm slamming Bloodbraid and just like hoping to either add to the board or kill something. Like if I hit an Inquisition here, I'm gonna feel pretty silly. All right, well that adds to the board. Not attacking. So any two Undying creatures, and I don't think I can win. There's one. Like, I could win, but it's going to be real difficult. And again, this is like a finite combo here. I guess, like, if I do get to untap, I can Plague Engineer naming Wolf to stop this recurring. Does that even work? I'd have to think about it more, but I'll do that when we get there. Proliferate. I forgot that card did that. Duckcake says drink some damn water. That is a good idea, actually. I'll do that after this game. What's up, buddy? The Alexa is going off, so the doggy is whining. You'll be fine, I promise. I promise you'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Yeah, I do have to get some water, though, after this match. Which is probably not gonna be much longer. My dog is very vocal. And he uses that to his advantage. Kroxa. Alright, so if I Plague Engineer... Plague Engineer just gets to die to the Yawgmoth, though, right? I mean, it's going to enter. I'm going to get to name Wolf. This will undie, come back as a 2/2. I don't think this works, right? Because, like, if I play Plague Engineer, this will die, so they'll just sack it in response. It's going to come back as a 2/2. Then this will enter. It'll be a 0/0 with a counter on it. So then they can sack it. I guess then it doesn't work, right? They'd still have to loop it some way. All right. Well, I don't think we're winning, but I guess let's try it. Yeah, this matchup is very difficult. If we get behind, I think we have to be the beatdown, and it's hard being the beatdown when a lot of their creatures block more than once. Like even when they're not infinite, it's pretty difficult. All right, so they're doing what we kind of predicted. Yeah, Yawgmoth is this removal machine. All right, so I still think I am naming Wolf to at least make their comboing awkward. Pass. I think I've played this matchup once before on camera, and we lost. Yeah, wall is a stone wall. Actually, it's a branch wall, but I know what you mean. Yep, so we expected this. So it's a wood wall, yeah. I guess if you want to be more specific, yes. Proliferate, yeah. Kill everything. Not everything. My goifs get to live. Alright, there's the second undying creature. So that loops. I am confident in conceding now. Alright, we are 2-1. Here's the deck. I'm gonna grab a glass of water real fast, and I'll be back in like a minute or two. Maybe less than a minute. Okay, what I miss? Goif is a whip if it can't claw through some shrubs. Yeah, that's a flavor fill. I feel like in the real world I would call a flavor judge and ask if the play is illegal, because like, you know, Goif should get through some shrubs, right? Surgical against Yawgmoth. Yeah, I mean, it would be good versus Yawgmoth. I don't think there's enough graveyard decks going around to really warrant something as narrow as Surgical. I mean, I guess if, like, combo ever gets really big, then, like, Surgical could be good there, too, right? Because, like, you could maybe combo it with a discard spell. So, I mean, it's not ridiculous. It might be something to try out in the near future. Literally Goyf eating shrubs in the picture. The original? No, he's eating a person. Well, or what I assume is a person. Don't know if it's a human. Dude, I gotta turn those notifications off on the Alexa. I guess I'll do that while this match is loading. I'm here, I'm here. Okay. Yeah, they revealed Luris. So probably a prowess deck of some kind. I guess Bogles was also a top 15 deck right now. This hand's much worse versus Bogles, but it's fine. Is this a mulligan on the draw? I think it is. Like, again, in the dark, I think this is a keep, but we're not in the dark. We're playing against Luris. Against most of the decks that I think this could be, this hand is not that good. Let's ship. Better. I guess I'll ditch Bloodbraid. We've got Ren and 6 to, like, hopefully find the lands. But I think all the other cards on average are going to be better versus Luris. And, like, I can't ditch the Ren and 6 because then the Bloodbraid looks silly. So let's just ditch the silly card. Let's move this over here. Alright. Made the correct decision here, I think. Like, we would have had the bolt for this, but then we have to get pretty lucky following up. Okay, second untapped land is pretty strong. We're going to have to go push into a decay. Jund, okay. Is there any reason to take the one and then maybe kill like a Tarmogoyf with this? I mean, I guess we get to kill the next thing anyway. I mean, the thing is, like, if I push a Tarmogoyf, like, maybe Decay can kill something bigger. Like, Swift Spear gets blocked by Goyf pretty easily. That's probably too conservative. Let's just point and click at these things. Point. Click. Okay, and they've got the Goyf. We've got the Decay. I could also just cast Tarmogoyf, because, like, they kind of stonewall each other. But if they've got a Bolt, that'd be real annoying. I think I'm just gonna Decay. And then hope the opponent doesn't have a third threat. And I don't want to get a forest here, but if I've got to save life, I guess I will. Because again, forest does not escape Kroxa. We're still short on shadow. I guess I will get a forest here. I mean, at least having second swamp makes me feel more comfortable in that. Like, next turn I can go Goyf, play Ravine. I mean, I think there's a good amount of equity to keeping my life total high. Alright, Luris to hand. Push is a good draw, but I still think I want to get this Ravine down. And then maybe Was like then next turn I can play Renin 6, buy back a fetch, and then that fetch can enable Revolt, where otherwise we would not have Revolt to deal with this Lurrus. Bummer. Is it Shadow time? Lurrus time, sure. Are they playing an empty Lurrus? There's nothing they can get back yet. Oh, sure, okay. Bummer. I mean, I'm still gonna kill this Lurrus as quickly as I can. I guess the only thing that would prevent me from playing Renin 6 here is like a Liliana. And they know our top card. It's a land. Alright, well... I mean, I guess I'm still using Renin 6, right? So... Renin 6. Let's buy back a Verdant. And they know about the Mire, so I might as well... It really doesn't matter what I get. I guess I'm getting a tapped land, so let's just use this. I'll get second black, second red, Blood Crypt. I mean, we've got Ravine as a way to attack. We need to find ways to pull ahead though. Like Bloodbraid and Kolaghan's Command, I think are just about our only two excellent draws. Like Liliana would be fine, but that gets attacked down probably fairly easily. Card advantage. We got him. Shadow. Yep. Come on, deck. Big draw step. Hiya. Yep. Is there a reason to play a land first? I've got one other Renin 6 in the deck. I don't think I'm activating this Renin 6 just because. I guess it's pretty much free. Just plus get back a land now. I'm not like pinging anything. I guess I could ping Shadow, because then if Bloodbraid hits Kolaghan's Command, that's the way to kill it. Like, the lands don't mean much. I think I am actually just going to ping the Shadow, open up a few extra outs. They're wondering, like, what is this? But, I mean, it's for a good reason. So if we hit Kolaghan's Command, we're going to look real smart. But if we don't, like, this one loyalty really doesn't mean a whole lot anyway. There are two Kolaghan's Commands, so there are a couple hits. We had Bolt. Alright, well, if they've got a Bolt of their own, they could, like, bolt themselves to save Shadow, which would be annoying. But, I mean, if they don't bolt themselves, this is looking fine. They should probably bolt themselves if they've got one. And then I'll just go Mire pass. Bolt themselves. Yep. Is there any reason to attack? If we attack and they block, we trade. So they're probably not blocking. An attack would put them to 4, which means they've got a 9/9. We die to Battle Rage. But if we put them to 4, we have them dead next turn with 2 lethal threats. Like, Ravine is lethal, and the combination of Bloodbraid and Renin 6 is lethal. So it forces them to have the Battle Rage. Is there a better reason to hold off? Is the only reason is Kolaghan's Command? Well, yeah, I guess, because like, if we hit Kolaghan's Command, we could always just ping after the fact, right? So yeah, maybe you're right. I do think I'm attacking, because like I said, it forces them to have exactly Battle Rage, and I don't think we're beating a Battle Rage anyway, so I think this attack is actually kind of cool. Yeah, because like this has us having 2 routes to lethal next turn. Yeah. I mean, they need... If they leave back only one blocker, they still die. Alright, so I mean, if they've got Battle Rage, they've got Battle Rage. I'm dead. Okay, I don't think I was beating the Battle Rage no matter what. GG. Oak doke. Jund Shadow. Plague Engineer trades. It dies to most removal, which is not excellent. I think I definitely want Spell Bomb. Huntmaster on the play. I think I want Courser on the play as well. So it's looking like these 5 for sure. These 2 maybe. Definitely cutting Thoughtseize. I think the Renin 6s are probably just bad. I like the Bobs, especially on the play. The discard is not looking exciting. What does this look like? I think I'm gonna cut Kolagon's commands. Like they're gonna be good for buying back creatures, but I mean 2 damage really isn't gonna kill a whole lot. I guess it does kill Luris, so maybe I keep 1. Buying back a creature could be good, but 3 mana to maybe not even kill a thing doesn't seem like where I want to be. Maybe I trim a Bolt as well, but they are playing lots of Swift Spears, and like it's good for tagging those. Like I want to be able to save the pushes and the decays and the like for the bigger stuff like the Scourges and the Shadows. I think on the play I do want the Lilianas. Yeah, I mean maybe Plague Engineer just isn't good enough. I think everything else is just going to be on average better. Like Engineer is a removal spell, but it's a removal spell that they can kill with their own removal, and I don't think that's where I want to be. Let's go first. I think I'm keeping. We've got Bolt into Goyf into Kroxa. I mean, Kroxa I think is probably one of the better ways we win. If they don't play a 1-drop that Bolt kills, I'm going to really wish I had played Verdant. I'd have to shock for either of these anyway, so I think it saves the same amount of life to just play this first. Cool, so we saved some life. I do want to get a red source, I guess. I don't think I want to play Goyf here because then I can get bolted, and that seems not good. I think I'm going to cast Kroxa here. So I guess I'll go Overgrown Tomb, Shock a Blood Crypt. I guess I have a double green card I wouldn't mind casting now, so maybe I even want to get... Maybe I just Overgrown... I still think I'm getting Overgrown Tomb, but then I'll Shock Stomping Ground instead. If I draw like Liliana, I've got Swamp for it, but then I don't have to Shock if I draw like my Courser or something. Alright, so we'll Kroxa here. Another land isn't great. Do I wanna fetch instead? Just because like it'll feed Kroxa faster? I don't think so, because I have to get Blood Crypt with this. So let's just shock this. Cast Kroxa. And there's the Bolt. Okay, so pretty happy I didn't Goyf. Is this a Goyf of your own? That'd be scary. Oh, that's boltable. Let's pop this over here so I don't forget. Ooh, that was a good one. So... it's not 0 that the opponent is playing Graveyard Hate, so I think I want to use this Kroxa as early as possible. But it might be more likely the opponent like plays a Thoughtseize, so maybe I want to Bloodbraid first anyway. So a bolt and a fetch. That's cards 3 and 4 in the yard. I guess it's cards 2 and 3, not counting Kroxa. Yeah, it's looking like I'm gonna be blood braiding first anyway, so maybe I should just play the swamp, because if I wanna bolt here, which I think I will, I don't wanna have to shock to do it. So yeah, I'll swamp, cast the Tarmogoyf, leave up the red. And like they could very easily have push here, but there's not much I can do about that. Still not 0 that they've got it. They might just want to save it for prowess. And I'll respond to the first thing they cast, killing the Swift Spear, or the first spell they cast. Scourge. As a 4/4, yeah. Do I want to just hold the bolt to kill Luris? The Swift Spear isn't doing a lot. Thing is, I need to feed this Kroxa. Yeah, I'll fire off the bolt. If you want to mutagenic growth it, sure. Alright, Blood Braid is happening. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe they have Veil of Summer. That would be a reason to cast Bloodbraid. So if I cast Bloodbraid now, that's going to be... Actually, I think I do want to cast Bloodbraid, right? Because then next turn I have the potential of Kroxa and Fatal Push, and that's a very powerful 2 turns. Paying life means that Scourge is going to grow, but I can't do much about that right now. So I think I'm going to fetch just like basic Mountain. Cast Bloodbraid. I think I do need a fetch here, because if I find another fetch, that's going to be the easiest way to escape Kroxa. And like if I were going to plan on Fatal Pushing, I think I would just do it like my opponent's upkeep to best play around Veil. Liliana would be best case though, I think, because then like if they do have Veil, I could at least have a leftover Planeswalker after they counter the Edict. There's not a lot of terrible hits here. Oh, we hit it. Please no Veil. If they don't have Veil, I'm going to feel very ahead. But I'm not going to not Edict here. Like, I could wait to Edict next turn, because then maybe, like, I can Edict without having cast a black spell, so Veil wouldn't cycle. Yeah, they've got it. Sure. But, by then they could just have another creature and the Edict gets worse anyway. So now, we have the opportunity to escape Kroxa. In fact, we know we can, right? Because we can plus whatever we draw, shock this in, push. That's the 5th non-Kroxa card, including the discard from Lily. Brutal. I mean, if they hit the Liliana down, yeah, they might still just attack us. It's like Liliana doesn't Edict yet. And like this will significantly grow Scourge. No, they want to kill Liliana. Sure. I mean, this has us escaping Kroxa anyway. Shadow. Jeez. That's just a 1/1 though. Big draw step. Alright, so I think I'm going to escape Kroxa first, because that'll have the opponent discarding that information, and then I can shock and push the Scourge. Is there a reason to leave anything specific in the graveyard? We've still got a Kolaghan's Command in the deck, so I guess I'm leaving Goyf for a Bloodbraid. If I hit the K command, I can cast Goyf in the same turn, which would be a reason to keep the Goyf. I think I will just keep the Goyf for that reason. I have to start overwhelming the opponent somehow, I think. If they ditch a land here, like their Shadow will grow, which will be awkward. But I don't think they're sandbagging a land. We hit a Shadow with it. Cool. Alright, so let's shock this. Kill the bigger thing.
And they discarded a shadow, so maybe their hand is just more threats. I mean, I guess they've killed everything on site, so it could easily be just more removal. I mean, they've also got Luris too, right? Another Scourge, sorry. So it was another threat. Now, I'm assuming they drew the land here. Big draw step. Land. Yeah, shadows for days. So if I cast this Kroxa, the opponent goes to 7, and then their shadow is gonna be able to square up with the Kroxa of my own, which is pretty awkward. I definitely can't attack. Do I just say go? Thing is, the scourge is gonna be able to hit me no matter what, which is pretty bad for me. I really needed to find like a removal spell. Like if I found a removal spell here, I think I win. But a land is not a removal spell. I think I have to pass and like try to hit it next turn. Guntron, thank you for the follow. Like maybe it is worth it just offering this trade, but then any fetch and I'm no longer trading. I'm just dying. What did you draw? I'll play Jund any day of the week. Yeah, I think I've got to take the smack. Yeah, Jund Shadow is just so threat dense. It's hard to kill everything. If they somehow bricked here, maybe we can kill them. Like, we can get the shadow out of the way. This is smacking for a lot. Like, if they have a land here and they just put Luris in their hand, I guess that's not true, right? Because, like, we attack, they can discard Luris, block. I mean, they don't know that we've got effectively a bolt in our hand. It only goes face, though. Yeah, they're too threat dense. It's just going to be too difficult. That's what I needed last turn. I mean, I've got to do it now. And now I really can't cast other Kroxa. Because then they go to 6 and they've got 2 lethal threats after sacking a Goyf. Yeah, I needed this last turn. Last turn this would have been insane. But as it sits, it is just straight not good. Now I'm chumping. Like, and they still have Luris as a leftover. I guess I can hope they want to kill Liliana for some reason. Nope. Alright, block the thing that keeps me alive. Battle Rage me. And if they have it, they should just go for it. I would have killed their stuff earlier if I had removal, so like they know I don't have it. Okay. I'm dead. D-E-D. That spells dead. 2 and 2. Here's the deck. It's been doing pretty well so far. I think Jund Shadow is probably an okay matchup. Like I said, though, they're so threat dense that it's really hard to kill everything. Like, I almost think it might be correct to never kill a Swift Spear just because, like, my own creatures can at least outsize those, and like you can save removal for like the shadows and scourges and other Tarmogoyfs. The removal that kills like things with more than 6 toughness are like kind of slim pickings. Like Push does it easily, Liliana does it easily. But I mean, Bolt, Renin 6, not really reliable. Yeah, like the Swift Spear is like, it hardly feels worth killing them. This sounds good. It's going to be a little awkward if we're playing against like Burn, for example, just because our mana is going to be set up pretty painfully. But I mean, I'm not going to not cast Thoughtseize on turn 1. So here it is. Oh, okay, Company. Let's take Pretty company. All right, let's take Oryak Champion. I like literally can't beat that card. Goyf can attack past it, but it like forever stonewalls things like Kroxa. I am worried eventually about this company, but I think I need to be the beatdown, which has me taking their thing that just like blocks forever. Oh, you drew a bird. Oh, even worse. Oh god. 'Twas bad. Forest, I guess. I think I'll play Forest because if I need to revolt to kill something with the push, I'll have the revolt. Mentor, yep. Alright. Well, I definitely have to kill that. And I guess I'll just do it now. And then I'll hold up Bolt in the off chance that company just kills me. And I can't fetch now because I need the revolt. Or I guess I don't because it's Bolt now, but it'll be fine. And I won't fetch end of turn because then I could just die to a company. I mean, I'm getting companied. That's not a question. Liliana's good. I mean, I guess I'll attack to evoke whatever this company is, and then hopefully the bolts can break up whatever it is they got going off of it. Okay. They just didn't block. I guess that's fair. So I do want to play Liliana here. I'll ditch a Kroxa. So let's get, I guess, basic Swamp and Overgrown Tomb. I guess I should maybe get Blood Crypt, huh? That makes it easier to escape Kroxa if we find it basic. We're gonna have to hope for a whiff. Forest is... I keep saying that, like, Forest doesn't escape Kroxa, which is true, but I haven't fetched the Forest. I just keep drawing it. There's the Heath. Okay. So if we get lucky in this Cocoa Brick somehow... maybe we're okay. Oh, they hit it. Okay. Well, I can't make first move because then I just die. They would go infinite. I mean, I think I just die anyway, right? They could just give Spike Feeder lifelink. I mean, giving Spike Feeder lifelink and then just attacking plays around any and all single removal spells that I could have. Yeah. Okay, now we're dead. I can't beat both. Heliod Company. Alright, so Plague Engineer gonna be great. It can kill the Spike Feeder after they remove the counter, unless they've got like a Pendelhaven or something. Actually, even against Pendelhaven it works, right? I think I want the Courser. Brutality can kill the smaller stuff. Also take company. Oh, and this is what Unravel is good for, right? It's like we can hit Heliod. Coldgun's command seems real weak. They're just not killing my stuff, and 2 damage isn't going to do a lot. On the play, I like the Lilianas. Maybe it's some number of discard spells. Let's cut like 2 Inquisitions. We're bringing in Brutality, which is a similar effect. 3 more cuts. It's not Bob. Alright, maybe Brutality just does seem like our worst removal spell. I think it's probably better than Inquisitions 3 and 4, but I think it's worse than something else. We need 2 more cuts here. Maybe it's like a Kroxa. And I do think I want to keep Tarmogoyfs. We have to hit pretty hard pretty quickly. Is it Liliana? Is that crazy? It's just one of our slower removal spells. You know what? Let's cut one Bloodbraid off the top. I am a little nervous I'm taking out 2 threats, but I mean, it's just 2. We still have loads. Like, cutting something off of the top seems fine versus the combo version of the deck, but I mean, if they go attrition-y, then I'm going to wish I had kept that Bloodbraid. Yeah, turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Goyf. Hopefully some good follow-ups. Kind of hard to ship this, but it's not fantastic. Lead on discard. And I could wait till maybe a pre-combo turn, but then we get opened up to a Veil of Summer. I think I'm going to take the indestructible thing. I can more easily deal with creatures. Alright, they don't have a 1-drop. That's pretty big. Another land, not what I'm wanting to see. I think I should have played Peatland here. I just took away my only easy way for Revolt. We've got lots of black sources. Let's just get a Stomping Ground. I mean, Goyf is kind of big. We took Enchantment. Not going to sacrifice Peatland next turn because I want to build up towards this Bloodbraid, I think. Alright, can you not have a 2-drop as well? That would be good. Okay, okay. Let's hit a Liliana. I mean, Bloodbraid is plenty fine, too. I just wish I had something to do this turn. So now we know at a minimum they get to play Spike Feeder. And if I tap out for a Bloodbraid, we could just die to a company hitting Heliod or just a Heliod. Which is one of the reasons why I cut the Bloodbraid, because like versus the combo aspect, tapping out does not feel good. But I mean, if we can hit any removal spell, this Bloodbraid's going to be good. And this is another reason why I wished I had kept the Foothills. Oh, Skyclave. Because like if I kept the Foothills, like push is an out to killing whatever. I mean, it would still be an out to killing this, so I'm going to feel pretty silly if I hit exactly push. Alright, well, I guess that makes me want to just play that. Is second swamp free? We've got a lot of green. Because if I draw exactly Courser, I'm going to wish I had gotten Overgrown Tomb. Let's just get the Tomb. If my life total ends up getting super low, I'll know where it went wrong. Liliana, I think, would be best case. Tarmogoyf's fine too, and I'll offer the trade. Trade gets me the trade gets me a 2/2. They're not attacking, so I guess I should attack. Gotta be the beatdown. Jam. Trade, okay. My league's gonna end in like probably 10 minutes or so.
So I accidentally ordered 2 of the Chomp Chomp rollers because I guess I had one in my cart already.
Oh, oops. There's a Spike Feeder. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm casting other Bloodbraid. It's hard to not to. Oh, okay. That makes it easier to not to. They could have Veil of Summer. 2 cards we don't know about. I feel like I have to just kill this thing. If they've got Veil, it's going to be unfortunate, which would also be a reason to just do it upkeep. Yeah, I guess I should just do it upkeep, because then I guess they still have company mana. So I guess maybe doing it now is better, because like if they're gonna have Veil, they're gonna have company mana next turn anyway, which is what I'm worried about. And that this will at least guarantee that my things get to attack. Brutal. All right, well I'm still attacking. They'll still trade. And then I guess I'm also sacrificing the peatland, but I should do it on the opponent's upkeep, so that way I have revolt on their turn. I can't revolt it now because we're under a veil. So upkeep, I'm going to try to draw either a bolt or a push. There are 7 copies of those. All right, we brick. I guess they're just digging for the combo. I mean, if they've got it, they know we can't beat it because we would have just killed their thing upkeep. All right, they don't have it. They didn't have the company either. Ooh, Pulse. All right, so Pulse is gonna be bad versus another Veil of Summer. If I Blood Braid, is there any advantage to that? Like, I mean, obviously, like Blood Braid could hit removal. If I pulse this, they're still drawing to the combo. But their drawings are much slimmer if I just kill this. I think I do want to just kill this. Because, like, if I cast Bloodbraid here, there are a much wider range of things that kill me. Like, they just need the Heliod, right? Like, if I cast Bloodbraid and attack, they don't die. So I think this is smarter, because, like, this has them farther away from their instant win button. Play a Peatland. Jam. Sure. Alright, so now they need company. We know they didn't have it last turn, unless they sacked Peatland into it. So they're going to have 2 cards that could be company that they would not have cast yet. Alright, that does not look like a company. I think I will just sacrifice Peatland.
It's magical.
Oh, they had company. Bummer. Hello. We're about to maybe die. Oh, geez, it works. Well, that's pretty bad for me. We're not just dead, though. I mean, the Auriok Champion does not effectively block Tarmogoyf. For a similar reason, maybe I just want to play this Tarmogoyf because it's more likely to get in. No, that seems crazy. I think I'm just Blood Braiding. And then I'll play Fetch Land first, because if I hit a push, I can, in response, sacrifice this for Revolt. Liliana. Well, that's probably just going to hit an Arbor Elf. You'll gain 1. I could just plus, make it harder for the opponent to, I guess, have the other half of the combo. Is that crazy? I think a plus isn't crazy. Let's lead on attack. Like, they can't attack Liliana back, because then they kind of just die. So, like, Champion gets in front of Bloodbraid for free. Sure. And then plus was a land. So, like, if I edict them here, like, they would sack the Champion, but that still has me dead to Heliod. And then if they had found the Heliod, they wouldn't have played it yet. So I think it is just safer to plus. And if they draw the Heliod, that's okay. Okay. Well, like, I've got the Verdant, so, like, they can't just go for it. Oh, they can give lifelink. Okay, they can just go for it. They get to attack. Alright, so, I mean, the Edict would have worked out better. Yeah, I needed them to not draw exactly Heliod or Company into Heliod. Now they can freely go for it because no one removal spell gets me out of it. Alright, I think the opponent got a little lucky at the end there, but come on, Magic Online. Okay, so let's do a quick deck tech for purposes of the recording, which is being uploaded to YouTube. Oop, not what I wanted to do. Come back, Magic Online. Okay, here's the deck. So all in all, I mean, it felt pretty smooth. We lost to Jund Shadow, which I think was just that wasn't particularly close. I think we just got completely destroyed by Jund Shadow. I think the Heliod matchup is pretty close. We saw that the opponent had the top deck to win there, and they just happened to this time. And then what was the other loss? I don't remember. Match 3. Anyway, the deck felt fine. Like, there wasn't any one particular card that I think really stood out. I guess the thing that I can add is the Ren and 6 just did not look very impressive. I still really don't like Ren and 6. Like, I don't, again, deny that it is powerful, but it just really doesn't do what I want it to be doing in the format right now. Like, it's going to be great when there are lots of X1s that you can kill. I mean, we played against matchups where there are lots of X1s, and we had it versus those matchups. Okay, the other loss was Yawgmoth. Like, we had the Ren and 6 versus Yawgmoth. I don't think we had it versus that last opponent, but like we had the Ren and 6 in matchups where it's supposed to be good, and it just wasn't fantastic. It was just fine. And I think if it's going to be fine in some matchups and just straight not good in others, it's just not a card I want to play. I think I'd just go up another Dark Confidant, as I have in the past. The fourth Bolt, I think, was a good inclusion. We played against lots of things that were either creature combo or aggro, and like obviously lots of 1-mana removal is good there. All the 1-mana spells, they do get worse if you play against mid-range decks though, right? Because like they're 1-for-1s. They're good things to help stabilize, but not so much good things to help pull ahead. So maybe I do need just more cards to help pull ahead, be it just like more creatures or more multi-for-ones like Pulse or K-Command. But I mean, yeah, all in all, felt fine. The sideboard felt good. Courser ended up being very good. I guess that's like the one cool takeaway from this league is Courser was actually really good. It was the best sideboard card that we had. We brought it in, I think, all but one match. And the game where we got to play it, it really pulled us ahead. Like, it drew us 2 cards off of the top, in addition to making our Goyf bigger when it eventually died. So, I mean, that was really, really cool, and maybe I try more Coursers. I am wary of double green and double black and double red, but I mean, not playing Seasoned Pyromancer does make it a little easier, because you can kind of pretend to be a rock deck splashing red instead of a Rakdos deck splashing green when you're trying to play the Courser. The Brutalities looked good, the Spellbombs looked good. We didn't bring in the Huntmaster. Actually, we did once, but we didn't see it. The Plague Engineers were good. We just didn't play against anything where like the land Tate was relevant. So, I mean, hard to evaluate those based on this league. But all in all, I think the sideboard is fine. The experimental card was Unravel the Aether. We played against one matchup where we brought it in, which was this most recent one. But we just didn't see it. So, just kind of hard to evaluate. So, that's going to be it for this Jund League. Thanks all for tuning in. Had a pretty decent crowd today. I'm going to be back on later today. But definitely going to log off for now. My girlfriend just got home and we're going to have lunch. So if you're not already following here on Twitch, you definitely should. And if you're not subscribed over on my YouTube channel where all of these leagues get updated, you definitely get uploaded. You definitely should, because this is Jund League number 66. So there are 65 others plus extras already uploaded on my YouTube. So if Jund content is the kind of thing you like, you'll find tons of it over there. So thanks all for tuning in, and until next time, Jund them out.